Hello and welcome to the Weekly Aramaic. We're already on Daniel 2:15. We're making progress and learning Aramaic. So today's verse, basically, the king has this dream. He's trying to get help with the interpretation from his go-to wise men. They kind of try to bluff him, and he realizes they're bluffing him, and he says, look, you either come up with the interpretation or I'm killing you. And they don't come up with the interpretation, so he's killing them. And of course, Daniel is one of the wise men of the kingdom. And so when he finds this out, he's like, hey, what's with that? And so he goes to this guy named Aryok, the kind of captain of the guard. And he says, Ane va'amar la Aryok shalita di malka. So answering and saying to Aryok, the captain who's of the king, something like that. And then the quote of what Daniel says begins with Alma here at the end. But okay, let's do a little bit of grammar. So ane, that's the standard participle form in Aramaic, with a long a in the under the first consonant and a long e, as it were, under the second consonant. Interestingly, in Hebrew, it would be not ane, but one. So Hebrew has a holum, or a long o, after the first syllable in the participle, where Aramaic has a long a after the first syllable. What's going on here? Any guesses? Let's do the Canaanite shift. So Proto-Semitic had long a's. Aramaic has retained the long a. But in Hebrew and in Canaanite languages, Hebrew is a Canaanite language, which is a bit, there might be something profound hiding there. But anyway, so Hebrew went from long A's to long O's in that situation. And so that's why the participle, I think that's why the participle in Hebrew has a long O after the first consonant, whereas the participle in Aramaic has a long A after the first consonant. So we would analyze this as the Grundstamm, the basic stem participle, and it's masculine singular because Daniel's talking. Daniel was singular his whole life. He never split. Oh, look, I'm splitting. And you had two Daniels. No, that didn't happen. Nor did Daniel ever stop being masculine. So throughout his whole earthly life, Daniel was masculine singular. And so the participle that's telling us what Daniel's doing is going to be masculine singular. I put G. I've said this in several videos. G is a cross-Semitic language way of saying the basic stem. In Hebrew, it is sometimes called the qal stem, Q-A-L. In Aramaic, it would be called the pa'al stem. But if we call it the G stem, it works for both languages, and I like it. So there you have it. The same parsing for Amar. It's a little irregular. Notice it doesn't have the sere after the second consonant. So it's a little irregular. But but this is also a all participle, masculine singular. Answering and saying la Aryok to Aryok. La is to, preposition. Shalita, Kamat's aleph is, what is it? It's the captain. D Malka, well, the Kamat's aleph again is the. D is a little weird here, but it seems to have a function kind of like of the captain of the king. Okay, and now Daniel's. This is what Daniel says. Alma, upon what? Why? What's up? Data. Why is the decree? So Kamat's aleph again is the. Dot is a feminine singular word, and so this long monstrosity here is this Kamat's hey on the end is feminine singular to match dot, which is feminine singular. So why the decree? Here we go. Ma hak tzafa, being so harsh. Why is this? Why are you bringing me down? Why is this decree being so crazy? Now, the bigger they are grammatically, the harder they fall. So the ma is a sign of a participle in a different stem than the basic stem. So these are participles in the Grundstamm, in the ground stem, in the Pa'al, the basic one. But this is a participle in a different stem. Now, seeing that so Hebrew and Aramaic tend to function by building on three basic consonants. I've already told you that Kamatz He is feminine singular to go with this. So I'm guessing that Katzaf I'm guessing that these are the three basic consonants of this form, which means that the mem is added and the He is added. What stem would add a He to the front? Or to put it another way, what the He? And I'm guessing it's the H stem. By calling it the H stem, we can go cross-Semitic languages. In biblical Hebrew, it's called the Hifil. In Aramaic, it's called the Hafel. But if we call it the H, it works in both languages. And that is the causative stem, so causing to be harsh. Why is the decree causing to be so crazy? And so the mem is telling us it's a participle in a different stem. The He is telling me that stem is the Hafel. Katzaf is the basic word, and then Kamatz He tells me that it's feminine singular because dot is feminine singular. Okay, so why the decree causing to be so harsh? Min kadam malka, from before the king. Okay, that's Daniel's question. Why are you killing me? I don't want you to do this. So now then we have the setup for the response. Well, no, then we have what happens next is edayin milita. Then the decree hoda made known Aryok la Daniel to Daniel. Okay, so basically Aryok lets Daniel in on what's going on. So edayin is just an adverb that means then. Kamatz Aleph is the, so milita is the decree. By the way, this shava here, I know that this shava is a vocal schwa because the lamed is doubled. And so there are this dagish here means that it's a doubled lamed. And so the first lamed completes the first syllable, mil, and then the second lamed then has to begin the next syllable, mil la ta. And a gifted Hebrew speaker would be able to let you pronounce the doubled lamed, mil la ta, something like that, mil la ta. You would hear the second lamed if you were listening to a skilled Hebrew speaker. So then the decree, ho 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 da. So this is He on the front, so I'm guessing it's a Hifil. I'm sorry, in Hebrew it would be a Hifil. In Aramaic it would be a Hafel, or we could just call it an H. And you say Hifil, I say Hafel. Let's call the whole thing off and just call it a H. So this is the H perfect. It's third masculine singular from yada, which is the same word for know in Hebrew. Cause to make known, causative stem. So Aryok made known to Daniel the decree. To Daniel, Lamed means to, Daniel. By the way, Daniel means a judge of God. El means God, Dan, judge. All right, well, this has been the Aramaic of Zivik.